Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ukami Sigma Universe. This series of videos that I'm going to create is going to be dedicated for my country and my fellow Filipinos. Okay, so in this video, you might find me switching from English to Tagalog. Okay, and I've decided to make this series of videos, and this will be called Hinang Bayan. And this is because I decided to use my abilities in order to help and bring clarity to our nation and to the rest of the Filipino people who are currently divided and confused. A lot of you are out there, my fellow Filipinos, are full of questions that needs clarity and answers. This is with regards to our country. And this series of videos that I'm going to publish online is dedicated to you guys, to everyone, every Filipino out there in the world, and every Filipino in the Philippines. So our main thing is to bring the people to clarity and truth, and so that we can make clear decisions and clear actions on what direction and what proper actions we should take in order to uplift our country and unite the Filipino people. Ang isa pa pong topic na kailangan nating malinawan. Okay? One thing that we need to be clear as Filipinos, dahil marami pong nagtatanong kung anong nangyayari sa bansa natin. Nalilimutan po nating tanungin ang napaka-importanting tanong. Okay? At ang tanong po na ito ay ito. Sasabihin ko po sa inyo. Na marami po sa inyo ay hindi nyo tinatanong sa inyong sarili. Anong klasing presidente o anong tawag sa presidente na inaatake ang kanyang Senado? What kind or what do you call a president that attacks his own Senate? Yan. Okay. Napakagandang tanong, di ba? Okay. It's a question that a lot of Filipinos have not even bothered to answer. And that's the reason why kung bakit po kayong lahat ay litong-lito sa nangyayari. Nung nakita ko po ang ginawa ng presidente sa Senado, hindi na po ako nagtaka. Dahil alam na alam ko ang ganyang mga galawan. At nung panahon na buhay pa si Marcos Sr., dinanas din po yan. Okay, buhay na po ako noon. Bata pa ako pero ako po aware po ako nung bata ako. Kahit na nasa preschool po ako. Okay. Ulti po nanay ko, dinidebate ko nung bata ako. At kino-question ko kasi meron po akong awareness na I'm very much aware when I was a child sa mga nangyayari po sa paligid ko at saka sa mga issue, lalo na tungkol sa bansa kasi ang nakatira po ako sa grandfather ko na war veteran, tapos ang nanay ko po ay isang law graduate. Okay. So, at nagtatrabaho po dati yung nanay ko sa gobyerno. sa intelligence ng gobyerno nung panahon ni Marcos Sr. Kaya noong mga panahon po yon, ang mga sanay po ako sa paligid ko, nakikita ko puro mga barel at saka mga sheriff, saka mga abogado, mga hurado, at saka kumbaga nung bata po ako, umikot po sa government yung environment na nakagisnan ko after school. So, yun po yung naging parte ng childhood ko na mga ninong ko, puro mga sheriff at saka mga nasa ahensya ng gobyerno. So, dinanas ko na po kay Marcos Sr. yung mga panahon na ang bansa po natin ay in complete turmoil at nagkakaroon ng transitional change of power. O, yan po yung mga panahon ng 1970s going to the 80s. Okay? So, medyo mahirap po ang buhay talaga noon. Nung panahon din noon yun, natatandaan ko pa, Porus Brown out. Saka kudeta. Biruin nyo po, lalabas ka lang, makakita ka na ng sundalo, tangke. Yun yung mga panahon na yun. So, during that time, I remembered all of those things and I said to myself, hopefully, when I grow up, I wouldn't experience the same thing. Unfortunately, growing up, I still experienced the same thing. The way what happened during the after the Marcos regime, the Aquino administration, almost nothing really, very little has changed, except during the time of President Duterte. Stark comparison, I didn't vote for Duterte. I want to make that clear. I'm not into any kind of faction of political party or political groups or supporters. I remain independent. I have a free mind. Okay? I choose to decide for myself rather than be influenced by groups. That's my innate character. Sometimes I listen to people or certain groups, so for the sake of argument, of course, but not really allowing any kind of bias opinion to take seed in my mind. But stark comparison, which shocked me when Duterte was elected, was the major changes in government that he has implemented, as well as how he handled the hard-headed culture in terms of politics and as well as in the culture of the Filipino, which I clearly observed has changed in terms of obedience and decorum. And I realized that, wait, this guy is clearly a very good leader. Unfortunately, he's already old, and I've considered that there's a limit to his governance. I'd say we'd be lucky for him to have a second term. Unfortunately, he didn't take that route because that's how honest this man is in terms of his principles. I'm talking about principles, and I'm not saying that he's a perfect politician or what sort. There's no such thing as a perfect politician. People are people. Whether they're in politics or not, they can only stand as to the level of their commitment to their principles. And that's the truth. Kung weak ka, syempre, may na din prinsipyo mo. Okay. So this guy is very strong. Duterte is a strong-willed person. Sad to say, time has eroded his uh, strength, but it did not erode his will and his intellectual power. Okay. So I'm hoping he's in good. I hope he'd be in good health, and once he returns here in his motherland, I hope he can still enjoy his last few years in the Philippines. And if something happens to him in the ICC, I tell you it's going to be chaos. Why? Because the ICC will be held accountable if he dies in Netherlands. Because, like it or not, he's there until proven guilty. And if he dies during trial, that's another story. That creates a very complex situation for the Marcos administration and the Filipino people. However, let's go back to the question at hand, which none of you have been asking. What kind of president attacks the Senate? Okay, so here it is. Okay. An executive leader who systematically attacks, undermines, or subverts his own Senate is accurately described as an authoritarian or populist demagogue. Okay, I don't know if I butchered that. Okay. Demagogue. Sounds like a horror film term, right? But that is the horror that the current president has been imposing upon the people. Okay. Marcos Jr. is an equivalent of an authoritarian. That is our current state. Now, that is not Marcos Jr.'s final form. He has more transformations. Daig pa niya si Lord Prisa. Okay? So, kidding aside, okay, let's go back. Seriously. He will evolve into something else once he has successfully dispatched of the Senate. Okay. So, we cannot rest our laurels and allow ourselves to be controlled and convinced with all the lies and the illusions that the current administration and Marcos Jr. has been spitting out in national TV or his appearances online. We cannot be deceived. Right now, what Marcos Jr. is, he is an authoritarian. That is his current state. His title is president, but the way he's behaving is authoritarian. Now, what's the next evolution? Okay, a ruler who seeks, okay, absolute power and pits the people against the Senate. Ito na yung, this is the next stage na ginagawa niya ngayon. This is what he's doing. And to me, it's clear as daylight that what he's doing is leading for him to be an autocrat. Okay? Autocrat. Okay? From authoritarian, he's evolving into an autocrat. Now, he's 2 years until the end of his term. And that may evolve, okay, from authoritarian to autocrat. It will transition from a leader who demands strict obedience to the executive authority at the expense of the personal freedoms through intimidation rather than constitutional consensus, which is happening right now. The way President Marcos Jr. is using the DOJ, the Office of the Ombudsman, the NBI, and the PNP. Okay. So at that level, at the transitional level from authoritarian autocrat, okay, this is the reason why I agree with Senator Amy Marcos's assessment. Okay, so this is the reason why I agree with Senator Amy Marcos's expose. Okay? Because the way that things are happening, as the president claims to be fake or fabricated by the Senate, is actually a what? A form of gaslighting of the Filipino people. We cannot deny what has happened to the Senate and what's been happening to the Senate. And this is an evolving event that needs to be watched closely. Otherwise, our sovereignty, and I don't want to mention democracy, I'll just say our freedom or liberties are at stake. The entire Filipino nation's freedom, sovereignty, and liberties are at stake. Our constitutional laws are being violated by none other than the president himself. And that's the honest truth. If you're trying to side or take sides with regards to this matter, the reality will hit you hard the moment his final form is revealed. Okay. Now, this is not the final form. Marcos, in his transition right now, is on his way to become a dictator. Marcos Jr. is transitioning from intimidation into unconstitutional violations. He will evolve into a dictator with total power over the country, who, if he successfully eliminates and abolishes legislature such as the Senate, will become a dictator. Okay. So from dictator, he may switch that into a different title such as Prime Minister. But that is his next evolution. Hindi matatapos ang termino niya at maaaring doon humantong ang kalagayan ng Pilipinas kung saan ang ating konstitusyon ay hindi na sinusunod. At the moment, the Supreme Court is struggling to keep its grasp with regards to the situation, while the Senate is struggling to balance out their numbers. Okay. Now, his next evolution after being a dictator, and this is the reason why VP Sara Duterte warned us, and his father also warned us that hindi na bababa sa pwesto yan. The next evolution of such a president is executive aggrandizer. An elected president that dismantles or weakens the Senate and judiciary. Okay. So yun yung isang bagay na hindi klaro sa ating mga Pilipino. Kasi hindi nyo naiintindihan at hindi nyo ma-identify kung anong itatawag mo sa kanya. Dahil sa propaganda niya, ang pakita niya ay siya ay presidente lang ng Pilipinas. Pero sa kinikilos niya, iba ang katayuan na nire-representa niya. At after na ma-destabilize niya o mapahina man yan ang Senado, sa nakikita ko, parte na ng nagawa niya, na accomplish niya ay pahinain ng Senado. Bakit? Ginagawa niyang katatawanan ang Senado. Ginagawa niyang isang parang drama ang Senado. Ang matinong presidente, hindi niya dapat ginagawa yung mga ganyang bagay. At hindi niya dapat utusan ang sino mang sa mga ahensya niya na umaabuso ng kapangyarihan nila at konsintihin ang mga ganyang galawan, lalo na ng NBI. Ako, nag-training pa ako sa NBI noon, bata ako. Parte ko ng programa nyo, NBI, ang Dangerous Drugs Program. Oh. Dati, mataas ang respeto ko sa mga NBI noon. Kasi maraming tinuro sa akin ng NBI noon. Kaya ako noon, hindi ako nalulung sa droga or hindi ako na-tempt ng drugs or kahit na anong bisyo. Bakit? Kasi nag-seminar ako sa NBI. Ano pa ako noon? Bata pa ako noon. Okay, so bata pa ako noon. Nag-seminar ako sa NBI tungkol dyan. Kaya hindi ko maintindihan yung ginawa ni Nicolas Torre kay former President Duterte. Kung paano niya kinidnap para ipadala sa dahig si former President Duterte. Samantalang ang major campaign ng ating dating presidenteng si Rodrigo Duterte ay war on drugs. Hindi ba nakakatawa na counterproductive yung pag-aresto sa kanya samantalang ang kinakaso sa kanya ay human rights violation dahil sa kanyang campaign on war on drugs. At katawa-tawa din na mismong NBI official hindi niya kinwestiyon yung warrant at parang proud pa siya sa sarili niya. Yan ang mga tao na pinapaligid ni Marcos Jr. sa sarili niya. Yung mga taong walang integridad at walang commitment sa kanilang sinumpaang tungkulin. Anong susunod dyan? Instigator of self-coup. Okay. A president uses verbal attacks and uses military or police to attack the Senate. Ayan na po yung nangyari dyan. Ngayon, yung nangyari is a failed attempt ng NBI. Pero imagine niyo po, okay, can you just imagine if Marcos Jr. was able to successfully raid the Senate building and casualties would have happened. And this is the reason why I justify my stance to defend the stance of the Marines and the OSAA who defended the Senate building, who was successfully deterred infiltrators and intruders to the Senate vicinity. Ginawa po nila ang tungkulin nila, ang mga OSAA. Saludo po ako sa kay General Apelasca. sa ginawa niyang pagtupad sa kanyang tungkulin. Kahit na ano pong sabihin ng kapulisan, ng DOJ, hindi po mababago ang aking pag-iisip sa pag-suporta sa ginawa ninyo nung araw na yun. The Senate has the right and the power to defend itself when the executive offices are abusing its power. And that includes when the president is abusing his power. Ngayon, kung magdi-deny man ang presidente sa mga nangyayari at nag-gaslight siya ng mga kababayan natin, mga kababayan, sipin yung mabuti. Kapag nakuha ni Marcos Jr. ang gusto niya, which is sa base sa kanyang mga aksyon, sa mga diniscuss ko sa inyo, na mga hakbang niya at kung anong klaseng presidente siya sa mga ginagawa niya. Sa tingin niyo po ba, kahit kayo nasa baluarte niya at kayo sumusuporta sa kanya, ay hindi kayo, will you not suffer? Hindi ba kayo maapektuhan kapag nasira niya ng tuluyan ang bansang Pilipinas? The failed attempt in the Senate is an attack, no more, no less. And the impact of that is felt locally and internationally. The Senate's function is pivotal to the success of the nation. And without checks and balances, the nation's sovereignty is at stake. Mahirap mang intindihin, pero para sa mga hindi nakakaintindi ng batas, isipin nyo na lang kung anong mangyayari sa inyo kapag bumagsak ang Pilipinas. A failure of government, yan tinatawag na failure of government, will result into our country being very vulnerable to the point na tayo ay aasa na lang sa international aid at international military aid. Doon na tayo papasukin ng ICC, doon na tayo papasukin ng mga foreign governments, doon na tayo papasukin ng panghimasok ng mga international organizations na wala naman silang mabuting interes para sa mga mamamayang Pilipino. Mag-isip po tayo ng maigi. Napakadelikado po ng ginagawa ni President Marcos Jr. Kung natutuwa siya sa paggastos ng taxpayers' money sa mga lakad niya, at natutuwa siya na nalalasing na siya sa hawak niyang kapangyarihan, tsak po, tayo pong mga mamamayan, hindi tayo matutuwa sa mangyayari sa bansa natin dahil pare-pareho po tayo na magugutom, maghihirap, at pare-pareho po tayo na masisira ang mga buhay. Kapag hindi po napigilan ang mga ginagawa ng President Marcos Jr. So, ang panawagan ko lang po sa aking mga kababayan, wag po tayong magkampi-kampihan, buksan po natin ang ating mga mata sa katotohanan kung anong nangyayari at kung anong maaring mangyari sa bansa natin pag nagpatuloy po itong ganitong kalokohan. The abuse of power, the injustices, and the corruption that created and dismantled our economy into this poor state, hindi po nakakatawa. So for the meantime po, at this moment, I'm sticking to the facts. I haven't tapped into kung ano yung sinasabi ng kataas-taasan. Sa mga Kristiyano, ang tawag niyo sa kanya, God. Dadating tayo doon. Tanungin natin siya. Pero, I don't think natutuwa si God ngayon sa ginagawa sa atin ng pamahalaan natin. Okay? So kung ano mang kung sino man ang sinusuportahan nyo, kanino man kayo nakapanig, mag-isip-isip po kayo. Kasi isang bangka lang po tayo eh. We're all in the same boat. Pag lumubog ang Pilipinas, lahat tayong Pilipino, nasan ka man? Nasan ka man? Nasa abroad ka man or saan ka man naroroon? At yung passport mo ay revoke dahil wala na yung gobyerno mo. Ano sa tingin mong gagawin mo? Tanungin mo sarili mo. Empleyado ka man ni Marcos or empleyado ka ng gobyerno, kapag wala na yung Senado, wala nang pampasweldo sa inyo, anong gagawin mo? Pag bumagsak ang ekonomiya at ang bayan natin naghihirap na, wala nang pera na maitatapal sa mga supporter ng Marcos, ano gagawin nyo? Kapag dumating na yung mga dayuhan para sakupin tayo. At I'm not just talking about China. Kasi ang China, kikilos lang yan pag inatake sila ng Amerika. Ang sinasabi ko, yung iba pang mga Western countries. Pag dumating yan para sakupin tayo. At bagsak ang gobyerno dahil kay Marcos Jr., anong gagawin nyo? Yan ang tanong ko sa inyo. May magagawa ba ang pagiging anti-DDS? May magagawa ba ang pagiging kakamping? May magagawa ba ang mga DDS kapag nangyari yan? Pare-pareho tayong magdudusa dito sa bansa natin. Whether nasa loob tayo o nasa labas tayo ng bansa natin dahil Pilipino tayong lahat. Yan ang pakiusap ko sa inyo, mga kapwa ko Pilipino. Magkaisa kayo. Huwag niyong hayaan na yurakan ang ating kalayaan. Huwag niyong hayaan na yurakan ang ating soberanya. Yung mga dapat nating kakampi, ginagawa ni Marcos na kaaway. Sa tingin niyo, magiging mabuti ang takbo ng bayan natin. Yung mga dapat tayo nag-iingat na threat sa bansa natin, ginagawan kakampi ni Marcos. Ano sa tingin nyo ang gagawin nila sa atin? Kapag bumaliktad na sila kay Marcos. Sa totoo lang, sa diniskasyong evolution ni Marcos, kapag humantong na siya sa punto pa lang ng dictator, ano sa tingin mo ang gagawin ng UN, ng United States of America, at ng European Union at ng mga sinasabi niyang kakampi niya? Gagawin lang din sa kanya kung anong ginawa nila sa mga African leaders. Mag-aaral kayo ng history ng Africa kung anong ginawa ng ICC sa mga African leaders. I-look up niyo ang Libya. Ganun ang kahantungan natin. So kung tayo ay mabuting mamamayan at tayo ay may wisdom at sinasabi nating tayo ay makadiyos, isipin nyo kung makadiyos ba ang pabayaan natin ang tyrannical na government ni Marcos Jr. na magpatuloy. Titiisin nyo ba at aantayin nyo yung 2 taon hanggang siya ay mag-evolve na sa final form niya? At hindi na niya siya mapipigilan dahil gagamitin niya na, ngayon ginagamit niya ang pulis at ang NBI. Sa tingin mo, hindi siya mag-evolve pag ginamit niya na ang militar laban sa mga mamamayang Pilipino? Ano ang gagawin mo, Pilipinas? Ano ang gagawin mo, mamamayang Pilipino? That is my challenge to every single Filipino in the world. Nasa Japan ka man, Hong Kong, Dubai, Amerika, Europe, saan parte ka man ng Asia naroroon. Tanungin mo ang sarili mo. Pabagsak na ang gobyerno natin. Pag nagkaroon ng failure of government at siniil ang kalayaan at ang konstitusyon ng Pilipinas, saan ka pupulutin Pilipino? Saan mapupunta ang Pilipinas? Alam ko, sa totoo lang, hindi Pilipinas ang tunay na pangalan ng bansa natin. At hindi rin Pilipino ang tunay na tawag sa mga kababayan natin. Pero resulta yan ng kapabayaan at kawalan natin ng pagkakaisa nung tayo ay sinakop ng mga dayuhan. At kapag naulit yun, anong muka ang ihaharap natin sa mga anak natin, sa mga susunod na henerasyon, na tayo, ang henerasyon na to, whether Gen Z ka man, Gen Alpha, Millennial, Gen X, or Baby Boomer ka man, ang henerasyon na to na pinaglaban ng patayan ng ating mga lolo't lola, pinabayaan lang sa kamay ni Bobong Marcos Jr. Tanungin mo ang sarili mo.